This tiny component changed the world. Every smartphone, laptop, TV, speaker, robot, and even rockets use billions of these tiny devices. It is called a transistor. But what exactly is a transistor? How does it control electricity? And why is it one of the most important inventions in human history? In this video, we are going to understand transistors in the simplest way possible, using the popular BC547 transistor. Even if you are a complete beginner in electronics, by the end of this video, you will finally understand how transistors work.
So first, what is a transistor? A transistor is a tiny electronic component used to control electricity. Think of it as a smart electronic switch. It can turn devices on and off automatically. But that's not all. It can also amplify signals, meaning it can make weak electrical signals stronger. This small component is the foundation of modern electronics. Without transistors, modern computers, smartphones, gaming consoles, and the internet would not exist. Before transistors were invented, old electronic machines used vacuum tubes. Those machines were huge, slow, hot, expensive, and unreliable. Then the transistor was invented, and everything changed. Electronics became smaller, faster, cheaper, and more powerful. Today, modern processors contain billions of transistors inside a tiny chip. Now let's talk about the BC547 transistor. BC547 is one of the most popular beginner transistors. It is cheap, easy to use, and perfect for learning electronics. This transistor has 3 pins: collector, base, and emitter. Each pin has a specific job. The base pin is the control pin. The collector pin receives current, and the emitter pin releases current. The interesting part is this: a very tiny current entering the base can control a much larger current flowing from collector to emitter. And that is the secret behind how transistors work. To understand this better, let's use a simple water analogy. Imagine a water pipe. Inside the pipe, a large amount of water is flowing. Now imagine a small valve controlling that water flow. Even though the valve is small, it controls the entire water movement. A transistor works in a similar way. The base pin acts like the control valve. A small current entering the base controls a much larger current flowing through the transistor. So a tiny electrical signal can control bigger devices. This is why transistors are so useful. Tiny microcontrollers can control powerful motors, LEDs, speakers, relays, and many other devices using transistors.
One of the most common uses of a transistor is switching. Imagine you want to turn on an LED using an Arduino. Sometimes the Arduino cannot provide enough current directly. So instead of powering the LED directly, the Arduino sends a small signal to the base pin of the transistor. That tiny signal activates the transistor. Then, the transistor allows larger current to flow from collector to emitter, and the LED turns on. When the base signal disappears, the transistor stops the current flow, and the LED turns off. So the transistor behaves like an electronic switch. This is how automatic electronic systems work. Your phone, your computer, robots, smart home systems. Almost everything uses switching transistors.
Transistors can also work as amplifiers.
Now, what does amplification mean? Imagine speaking softly into a microphone. The microphone creates a very tiny electrical signal. That signal is too weak to power a speaker directly, so we use a transistor amplifier. The transistor takes the weak signal and increases its strength. Now, the speaker can produce loud sound. This is how audio amplifiers work. Speakers, radios, microphones, and music systems all use transistors for amplification. Without transistors, modern audio systems would not exist.
It is difficult to imagine modern life without transistors. Inside your smartphone processor, there are billions of tiny transistors switching on and off extremely fast. These tiny switches perform calculations, process videos, run apps, and connect you to the internet. Every computer calculation depends on transistors. Even modern artificial intelligence systems run using processors built from billions of transistors. The invention of the transistor is considered one of the greatest technological achievements in history, because this tiny component helped create the digital world we live in today.
Let's look at some real-life uses of transistors. In robotics, transistors control motors. In Arduino projects, they control relays and LEDs. Inside TVs, they process signals. Inside chargers, they control power conversion. Inside computers, they perform calculations. Even simple blinking LED circuits often use transistors. Once you start learning electronics, you will see transistors everywhere. That is why understanding transistors is one of the most important steps for beginners in electronics.
Many beginners make common mistakes while using transistors. One common mistake is connecting the pins incorrectly. Always check the transistor datasheet because different transistors can have different pin layouts. Another mistake is using too much current without protection. That can damage the transistor. Beginners should start with simple BC547 LED projects before moving to advanced circuits.
So now you finally understand the basic idea of a transistor. A transistor is a tiny component that controls electricity. It works like an electronic switch and amplifier. And despite its small size, it powers the modern world. I have done some projects with transistors in the past videos. Check out the channel and watch everything, and comment your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and comment which electronics component you want to learn next. Thanks for watching.